Hey guys, so we're going to do one more thing working with our percentages, and that's going to be that we're going to talk about simple interest. Okay, so again, let's talk a little bit about vocab. So the amount of money that you invest in a bank or that you borrow with a loan. Okay, so there's sort of two ways this works. I can take money that I have and I can go put it in the bank, like into a savings account, so that my money is safe and I might make a little extra, right? Or if I want to buy something very big, like a car or a house, I need to borrow money and I have to use a loan. Okay, so the amount of money that either one of these things starts with is called the principal. Okay, so the amount of money I take and I put in the bank, that's my principal. Or the amount of money that I borrow to go buy that car, that's my principal. Both of these two items earn interest. Okay, the issue is interest, let's say, good or bad? Well, if you have interest on amount of money in a bank, that means you're earning it. So when I take that money and I put it in a savings account and the bank says we're going to give you this much in interest, that's basically free money they're putting in my account because I'm letting it sit there. Interest can also be the amount of money you owe because you have a loan. So if I take out money to buy a car, I have to pay that money back, but every month they're going to add a little bit of interest to how much I owe. So by the time I finish paying back my loan, I've actually paid more than I borrowed. Okay? It's how they keep you from just taking the money and running away, right? If we charge you a little bit every month that you haven't paid it all back, you're probably going to pay it back a little faster. Okay? We're looking at what's called simple interest. Simple interest is paid only on the initial principal. So how much money did you put in the bank to start, or how much was your loan when you started? Okay, there are other types of interest, and those are things that you'll probably talk about in other classes in high school, especially when you take, say, your financial literacy class. But for our purposes, we're just going to talk simple interest just to sort of get the idea. Okay. So when I click to the next slide, what you see at the top is a formula. I equals PRT, okay? And this is the formula we're going to use for this whole lesson. The idea is, what do these letters mean? Well, I is our amount of interest. P is our principal. So what did we start with? R is the annual interest rate, but notice what's really important here as a decimal, okay? Our rate is a percentage, so we're going to need to take those percentages and make them decimals, just like we've been doing. And T is for time, but notice what's important here, expressed in years, okay? So I'm also going to put a little note up here because it's something that's probably, and I know is going to come up for us, that there are 12 months in 1 year, right? If they give you an amount of time that is not in years, we're going to need to sort of convert it. Okay, we're going to need to say, okay, if it's this many months, how many years is that? Okay, so the key to this is simply taking this formula, putting the information in, and getting an answer out. So the three questions you see on your screen, simply say, find the simple interest, round to the nearest cent if necessary. So we're finding I, which means they have to give us the principal, the rate, and the time. So how much money are we doing? What percent and for how long? Okay. So question 1 says $1,000 at 4.5% for 2 years. So the nice thing about this is all you have to do is plug your numbers in. So I equals, my principal is I'm starting with $1,000. My rate is my decimal. So this was 4.5. We're going to slide it forward 2 places, 0.045. And this is 2 years. All you're going to do is take a calculator and multiply those 3 numbers. 1,000 times 0.045 times 2. In this case, I get $90. that's how much interest you would earn. So if this was a bank account, for example, if I put $1,000 in and I just let it sit there for 2 years, when I come back after 2 years, it'll be $1,090. They will have put 90 free dollars in my account that I didn't have to do anything for. Okay. If this was a loan, I would have paid an extra $90 over those 2 years because I borrowed that money. Okay. So that is how much interest happened over those 2 years. Okay. So take the same approach to number 2 here. My interest, $2,500 at 6.75, so 0.0675. And this one's for 3 years. So again, type this straight into a calculator. 2,500, 0.0675, watch those decimals, times 3. This one is $506.25. Okay. Question 3 is the one that has one slight difference. This one says that it is happening $2,250 at 6% for 42 months. Remember, we don't want months, we want years. So there are 12 months in a year. So divide this by 12. 42 divided by 12 is 3.5. Okay, so that means this is 3.5 years. So when I fill in my equation, my interest is $2,250 at 0.06, right? And we need to put 3.5 years, not 42, okay? We want the years. So in this case, 2,250 times 0.06 times 3.5, we are looking at $472.50. Again, we're talking money. Make sure all your answers look like money. So for example, the one I just finished, my calculator only said 0.5. Put the 0, right? 50 cents. Make sure we have that accurate. Okay. So just like before, the next video is going to have more examples. They're going to have more information rather than here is exactly everything and how it goes into the equation. But we are using the same equation for this whole lesson.